Hi, I'm Julie Fisher, and today we're going to talk about how to be a digitally smart teen. In other words, how to make sure that your online life doesn't affect you in real life. So ever since you were little, you've been connected. You're comfortable online, you're comfortable interacting with technology, and you're not afraid to use it. As a result, you're often fearless, you're eager, and you're willing to share, which can be a really good thing, but sometimes it can lead to trouble. Mistakes happen online. You are going to make mistakes, and the important thing is that you learn from those mistakes. It's your job to protect your own digital footprint. Your digital footprint is your permanent record. It's going to follow you the rest of your life. And your digital footprint consists of everything that you do online. It's all the pictures and videos that you share. It's all the posts that you make. It's the text messages that you send. It's the emails that you send. It's even the schoolwork that you share online. That all becomes part of your digital footprint and will follow you. So I want you to think of your digital footprint as sort of like a digital tattoo. Tattoos are permanent. Now I know you can get rid of a tattoo, but when you do that, it leaves a scar. And the same thing is true online. If you make a mistake, delete it, get rid of it off the server where you posted it. But remember that that doesn't mean that it's going away completely, because the moment that you hit enter, send, or post, you're kind of giving up control of your content. You're saying, here you go, world, do what you want with it. Because the moment somebody sees what you post, there's nothing you can do to prevent them from screenshotting it and saving it to their own device. Once somebody has your content on their device, they can do whatever they want with it. So, before you post anything, you ought to be asking yourself the following questions. Would I be okay if my parents saw this? Would I be okay if my grandparents saw this? Would I be okay if a police officer or a judge saw this? Would I be okay if my coach saw this? Would I be okay if my clergy saw this? Would I be okay if the admissions officer at the school I really want to go to saw this? Or would I be okay if my employer saw this? If you can't say yes to all those questions, the truth is you shouldn't be posting it. Because again, once you hit that post button or send button, you're really giving up control of your content. And even though you think you might be having a private conversation online with somebody or only sharing something with your closest friends and followers, there's nothing to prevent those people from screenshotting what you sent, saving it, and sharing it with whomever they please. So, how come sometimes teenagers are careless? There are a lot of reasons. The first has to do with accessibility. My guess is you almost always have that device, if not in your hand, nearby. And because of that, you have access to the world. So when a thought comes into your mind that you feel like you want to share with your followers, you post it without thinking about inevitable consequences. Another reason is something I call the superiority bias, which refers to the fact that we all think we're smarter than the next guy. Everybody's heard a story about someone who's posted something online and gotten into trouble. And when we hear those stories, we say to ourselves, that guy was so dumb, I would never do that. But you can be sure that the person you're reading about today said the same thing about the person before them. We all think we're smarter than the next guy, adults included. A third reason that kids get into trouble online is something I like to call the ambiguity effect, and this has to do with viral posts. You know what a viral post is, something that's seen by hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people online. And we never know which posts are going to go viral. So, we don't go there. Instead, we say to ourselves, I know my friends are going to see this. They know me, they get my sense of humor, it's fine to post. Because considering the idea that 1 million people could read your post is more than we can wrap our heads around, so we just don't do it. So I want to show you some examples of some real posts that kids made that got them into trouble. The first one is from Instagram, and it was actually made by a 12-year-old girl who was being bullied at school. And she went on Instagram and she posted the word killing with a gun emoji, and then meet me in the library Tuesday with a gun emoji, a knife emoji, and a bomb emoji. Now don't forget, this is a kid who was being bullied. Unfortunately for her, she ended up being charged with a felony because her school took her post as a real and credible threat. Next is another Instagram image, and this time we have 2 girls waving Confederate flags. This image led to them both getting in trouble at school and in their community. Lots of people viewed this post as racist and insensitive. In their families, the Confederate flag was a symbol of their Southern heritage, but they never stopped to think how other people would view the post. There was even talk about one of them having her admission rescinded at a local university as a result of the post. The next image, we see young people holding up red Solo cups. There's nothing wrong with a red Solo cup, except for the fact that when an adult sees a young person holding one, and by the way, the cup doesn't have to be red. It could be blue, it could be yellow, it could be green. The color doesn't matter. But when an adult sees a young person holding a cup like this, we make assumptions about what's in the cup. And the thing is, nobody's ever going to call you to ask you what was in your cup. In this next post, we see a girl who looks terrific, but she happens to be standing in front of a bar filled with alcohol. Remember, it's not just about how you look in a picture, the background matters as well. The next picture shows boys who are holding up cans of something. They're conveniently hiding the labels on the cans. There could be sparkling water in those cans. We don't know. But when an adult looks at them, they're thinking beer. And nobody's ever going to call those boys to ask them what was in the cans. Here we see a student who went online to post about his teacher. It never occurred to him that his teacher would see his post and he'd get in trouble as a result. In this case, not only did the boy who made the post get in trouble, but so did his friends who commented on it. Here we have a young girl who got a job. She doesn't seem very happy about the job, and she posted that on Twitter. What she didn't expect was that her boss would see her Twitter post, and as a result, he fired her on Twitter from her job. Here we have one of my favorites. It's a tweet from a student who was applying for a competitive honors business administration program at a university in Canada. And while he was filling out his application, he probably didn't like the essay he had to write. So he tweeted, "This Ivy application makes me want to projectile vomit into the head of admission's mouth." The Ivy is the name of the school. What he didn't count on was that the Ivy would be looking and notice, and they responded on Twitter by saying duly noted. And then we see him tweeting back, "Oh my God, I take it back, please accept me." Because it never occurred to him that the school he was applying to would be looking online at social media. In fact, most colleges and universities have people within their admissions department whose job it is to interact with students and applicants every time the university's name is mentioned. Not only are kids getting in trouble for posts, they're also getting in trouble for following and liking things online. Here we have two examples where students at different schools were suspended just because they liked Instagram posts. In one case, there are two students standing in front of a car saying that they're going to have a school shooter one day. And in the other one, there's just an image of a gun with the caption "ready." Again, in both cases, students who just liked the images were suspended from school. I'm not sure if you heard the story about what happened at Harvard a couple years ago, but if you haven't, you need to. There was a group of accepted students at Harvard who created a private Facebook group, and they called that group Harvard Memes for Horny Bourgeois Teens. And they put in all sorts of offensive memes. Now, this was a private Facebook group, so they thought that what they were posting would remain private. In fact, some kids who were part of the group were offended by what was going on, and they shared the posts not only with other people outside of the group, but they also shared them with admissions at the university. As a result, 10 students who actually worked hard enough to get into Harvard had their admissions rescinded. 50% of schools check social media when they're making college admissions decisions, and 92% of employers also look. So I want you to think about what your posts say about you. When you post, you're actually creating what is essentially your own personal brand. Think about the brand attributes that you're putting out there online. Are you posting pictures of yourself asleep in class? Are you posting pictures of yourself that look ridiculous? Are you swearing left and right online? If that's what you're doing, your brand attributes probably won't be so positive. In 2018, Kaplan Test Prep did a survey, and they found out that 68% of colleges considered looking at an applicant's social media fair game during the college admissions process. And here you see a number of quotes from admissions professionals at highly selective universities in this country. It's not just admissions departments that are getting in on the game of checking your social media. If you're an athlete, your prospective coach is going to look. College coaches are tweeting left and right about recruits that they're dropping as a result of a single social media mistake. One of my favorite comes from Brandon Chambers, a coach at Marymount University, and he tweeted, "Never let a 140-character tweet cost you a $140,000 scholarship," because he dropped a recruit that was up for a full-ride scholarship over a single tweet. So, if they're looking, why are they looking? At the top of the list, quality of character. Again, what you post online becomes your personal brand and represents who you are. They're interested in your talents. I recently spoke at a conference for college admission professionals, and there were two people sitting in the front row in one of my sessions. They were both from the same university, and one of them said she didn't look at any applicant's social media profiles, and the other one said he looked at every applicant's social media profiles that he was interested in. So I asked him why he did that. And he said because he was looking for reasons to advocate for those applicants that maybe everyone else wouldn't see when they just looked at their college application. Another reason they might look is they're interested in verifying awards. If the award isn't listed in your high school transcript, admissions professionals will often look at social media to make sure you actually got the award and didn't make it up. So if the Rotary Club gives you an award, take a picture of it and post it online. If you're applying for a scholarship, a highly selective program, or you're an athlete, make sure that you clean up your social media. Those people will be looking. If you have a disciplinary or a criminal record, your social media is more likely to be looked at. And then the last one is really sad, and it's called admissions sabotage. College admissions has increasingly become a competitive sport, and as such, applicants are willing to go to great lengths to ensure that they win the game. What we're seeing happen is that applicants are reporting to colleges other applicants' social media mistakes in hopes that the school will look at those mistakes and get rid of the competition, allowing them to get the spot at the school they want to go to. It's not only students that are reporting on each other, parents are even getting into the act, reporting on other students because they want their own child to get the highly coveted spot. So, if schools look, what causes them concern? Any posts relating to violence, discrimination, or prejudice, an overuse of profanity, images or talk relating to illegal activity like drugs or alcohol, and any images that are overtly sexual or promiscuous in nature. If you're one of those people that just says, hey, I don't like social media, I don't want to be on it, that's okay. However, you still need to have an online presence before you apply to school or before you apply to a job. If somebody's looking for you and they can't find you, they're going to ask themselves two questions. Question number one, what's this person trying to hide? Question number two, why isn't this person interacting with their peers online? What's going on? So, if you're not anywhere else online, when you're in high school, get yourself a LinkedIn account. It allows you to maintain a more professional-looking online presence. It enables you to list any work that you've done, any skills that you had. It allows you to show examples of schoolwork, list your honors and awards, talk about your community service, and any relevant coursework or interests you might have. It also allows you the opportunity to connect online with universities to show them that you're interested in that university. So, what are the rules when it comes to social media? Rule number one, be your authentic self. Remember, though, that people are going to judge you looking through their own lenses. Take out the trash, in other words, clean up the language, stop swearing. If you can, opt out of tags. Remember, you could be making great choices, but your friends might not be. Practice that 2-second rule I talked about. In other words, ask yourself, would I be okay if my parents saw this or my grandparents saw this, etc.? Think about what's in that red Solo cup. Remember, you're never going to get a second chance to make a good first impression, and nobody's ever going to call you to ask you what was in the cup. Live by the golden rule online just like you do offline. I like to say what goes on Instagram stays on Instagram. So even though you can delete something off Instagram's server, you've got to remember that the moment you put it out there, you're giving up control of your content because you'll never know who's seen it, screenshotted it, and saved it to their device. And once that's done, you can't control how they use it. And then remember that adults will be watching what you do online. They will be forming opinions about you and making judgments about you. A quick note about mental health and technology. There have been studies done that show that there is a link between overuse of technology and an increase in the feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression. Remember that your social media or online interactions aren't the same as meeting with somebody face-to-face in person. They're often more superficial. So what can you do? Turn off the notifications on your devices. Every time your phone buzzes, beeps, or makes a noise, you're distracted and you're looking at the device. The more you look at the device, the more stressed or anxious you'll often get. If you can, delete the social media apps on your mobile device. When you have the apps on your device, it makes it super easy to just scroll through your feeds anytime. If you have to log into your apps through your browser, you're going to think twice before doing it. Create a special ringtone for important people like your parents, who you have to answer the phone for. If you don't hear that ringtone, let the call go to voicemail. Put your phone away when you're with other people. Try and be in the moment. And speaking of that, stop taking pictures and video of everything that's going on in your world. Don't look at your phone as you move about your day. Only look at it when you reach your destination. So when you're at a stoplight, don't pick up your phone. When you're running errands, don't pick up your phone. Reward yourself with phone time when you finally get to where you're going. And then lastly, only use one screen at a time. How many times have you had the TV on and you're looking at your phone at the same time you're watching TV? Do your best to only look at one screen at a time. Thanks for listening.